All right, good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, 7:15 a.m., July 22nd. Man, this month has flown by so fast. It's crazy. I feel like this whole year has, you know. But let's get to the analysis. All right, I'm going to do this for Advantage members only. Again, later today, guys, I will have the video out about altcoins, potential bubble developing, the potential altcoins that we can look at for the next several months. I'll at least be giving one out away for free, but then some of the other ones, I will solely roll them out into the Advantage side. We're also going to compare and see how the altcoins at present moment, how they can give us an indication of how high they can run, given if BTC is stable and the equity markets, of course, are stable. I think those are really the criteria and prerequisites for altcoins running higher, is that we need to make sure that BTC will be healthy in the next cycle of altcoins running, as well as the equity markets. Okay, so lots to cover, but yeah, look out for that video. Aside from that, as I stated before, we've rearranged some of our channels. Hope y'all like it. If you think that we should have more channels or different channels, any recommendations, let me know. I'm pretty open to recommendations. Down here in the free channel side, I've got some referral links if you guys want to sign up. CryptoQuant is that exchange where I showed y'all, the data of incoming Bitcoin to different exchanges, miner outflows, miner inflows, all kinds of really great, analytics. So you could sign up with that with my referral link right here. And then MXC, which is the other exchange where I think Elizabeth told me about it, and she said that there's a referral link that I could paste, which I didn't even know, but it's pretty great because this exchange specifically has a lot of new tokens, DeFi tokens, that maybe Binance or FTX or these other exchanges may not have yet. So I'll be putting some of my capital on MXC tomorrow. Well, I have a little bit on there, but I'm going to be putting more on there tomorrow because so far I feel a little bit safer with it. I've gotten an understanding of it. Seems pretty secure, so yeah. Anyway, Bitcoin analysis. All right, so let's get to it. I'm going to delete this thing because it's not useful anymore. But what is useful, however, I've always discussed with you guys that it is important to draw price action within the context of ranges. Ranges, channels, trend lines, helping you identify if there's a pattern to price and if there's certain areas that price, pretty much circulates around, okay? So in this particular instance, I would say this is probably the key high of the range and this is the low. Why do I know that? Because if I drew it any other way, say I drew it like this, okay, we don't get the understanding that from here, this is the high, and you can see these highs smash into this, range high multiple times. This was a deviation that comes back inside the range. Range low is, in my opinion, pretty clear. This is the range low, pierce below it, deviation, come back inside the range, okay? So I'd say this is the larger range at play. Let me delete this real quick, background. Okay, so what do we have going for us right now? Well, we took out this low right there, right? Now we're heading back up. More often than not, what I've seen is when you take out the low, price typically tends to go towards the range high, okay? Towards the range high. All right. It also sometimes, does something like this, comes back up, rolls over, gets another touch right here, higher low, and then pushes back up, which gives you scalping opportunities. Now, if this range low right here breaks, well, then we're heading down further. Okay. So that's the best strategic decision that you can make for a short position, if the range low breaks. What is that range low again? Right around like 93.10. So you can mark that on your own chart, set some alerts, whatever you need to do, you can do that. Alternatively, you can also, build a short position right here if you want to. Because the way I see it, okay, so let's turn this off. The way I see it right now is we pushed up quite aggressively, chopped around here a little bit, broke down. I would probably figure that we go back towards 9,400 again. If we cannot break up above this key high right here and hold, I would probably figure we're rolling back down. Now, rolling back down doesn't necessarily mean that we're headed way the heck down here. First, we have to break this area right here, which is the weekly open. Second area we have to break is the July monthly open. Until these two break, the best way you could look at this is, okay, we pushed up, came back, retested the previous area that was resistance, and now we're potentially pushing back up, okay? That is the way you can go about, identifying potential positions out of this, right? Buy down here, very possible, okay? Also, push back up, right? And if you don't get past this high, well, it's possible it's a double top, or we're just retracing back up and then rolling back over. There are many different scenarios that we can iron out of this situation. But the point is, when I still look at this larger context, we've done a couple of great things, which is number one, where's the other chart that I have? Let's see here. Okay. This is my other chart on Finex. I told you all about the triangle, right? So let's see. So this is a triangle, okay? We broke out of the triangle, as you can see, this orange triangle. And I told you guys that this marker right here was critically important. Why? Because we have to hold above that area. If you don't hold above that area, chances are all you've really done is put in another lower high. This was the key high back here, lower high, lower high, lower high, and another lower high. But we just came up to this area. So it's possible, like I said earlier, that we go back towards this July open. Not only that, we retest this descending trend line as support, and then from here we push higher, okay? But I don't know from here that we just outright just start pushing higher, okay? Because we've got some very important retests that we need to do, possibly towards this weekly open, possibly even towards this trend line, okay? So just some things that you want to keep in mind. On the daily chart, I'm still largely concerned about the fact that we still have a pivot, the daily pivot right above us. So we haven't really done anything special, I've showed this to you guys before many times. For the last, 12, 13 months or so, Bitcoin has not come back to a pivot like this from the underside and then broken up through it. More often than not, when Bitcoin taps a pivot like it has right here, it starts rolling down further. So these are just important things that you want to pay attention to, okay? But again, I am still in my swing short, so I'm not really concerned about that. Yesterday, we closed out a Bitcoin, excuse me, let me get a sip. Yesterday we, wow, my voice is giving out. Sorry about that, guys. Yesterday we gave this trade right here, I guess 2 days ago, and then we closed out this Bitcoin scalp trade. So decent profit. Now if I want to go back into other long positions, I want to see those conditions play out, like I told you, right? Either I see a potential double bottom coming right here, and then maybe I will scalp long from here, maybe stop just below this area, and then take profit at this high or somewhere around these highs, okay? If I start seeing price come to this area and start doing something like this down here and starts breaking down, I'd want to, short. Well, I'm already short, but I just mean, if you guys want to consider that. Okay. In terms of scalp positions, I'm only going to look out for scalp longs because I'm already heavy size in my swing short. Okay. The ES, looking all right. I mean, yesterday we had a big thrust up, but then started to roll back over. We will see how things open up in the market. It's very hard to question that the S&P 500 and the traditional markets aren't going to push higher because, damn, like every time we've retraced even a little bit, the market has bottomed back up. So, it's hard to say that present moment we're just going to start rolling over. One day doesn't really make a trend. A couple of dojis don't make a trend. You actually have to start seeing the market roll over. Okay. I would probably say if you're looking at, say, breakdown point, right? You could kind of look at it from this angle right here. So right around 3,100 flat. If the market starts breaking below that particular low, I would be concerned. I would not only be concerned for equities, but I would be concerned for Bitcoin. Okay. Let's discuss some of the other altcoins. Okay, so I told y'all I got into a link long, somewhere around like $7.30 average, which is in altcoin scalp section. It's a scalp because, to be honest, it really wasn't that big of a size. Yeah, that's my entry. My stop is 685. We haven't really touched my stop, which is way the heck down here, right? 685 or so. I really need Link to escape out of this demand structure because it's like this demand area has kind of gotten like a death grip on it. And sometimes that's not good because the more time you spend in demand, that means that, well, is the demand really that strong? Because if you had really strong demand, you would have just pierced it and boom, started taking off, right? But it's okay for, Link to spend time here as long as it's going to, do something like this and start breaking up and away from it, okay? So I'm still positive on this trade. I still think Link can get back towards this key marker around 780. And then if it gets past that, I'm thinking about $8.25 or so, just above these highs, okay? And if it gets past that, well, then it can easily reach towards, 850, 860, okay? But one step at a time, right? First, escape the demand block right here, get to this high, break this, get to 825, break that, then get to 860 and beyond, okay? Check out Tezos. Okay, so Tezos, I've stated even yesterday, this range that y'all see, right? The range that we're in, we need to get out of this range. You have to get out of this range if you want to think about further upside. The longer you spend time in this range, the more susceptible Tezos will be that when BTC drops, Tezos can drop, to the EQ of this area, which is, the difference or the middle ground between the high and the low, which is, we call the EQ, right? It's basically the 50% retracement between the high and the low. Anyway, it could drop to the EQ or it could drop to the range low. We don't want that. We want Tezos to get out of this range high. It must do that to start challenging this high and then eventually get to 359 or higher. Until it does that, I'm cautious on Tezos, okay? I'm not aggressively bullish because I understand how these things work. You have to escape the range high to then start talking about higher prices. The same goes for BNB. BNB was the same thing. In both Tezos and BNB, both of them got me, right? And this happens, okay? I waited for almost 2.5, 3 days on Tezos. I waited for a day and a half on Binance, BNB. See, you can see right here, we broke above the range high, spent half a day right there, above there, spent, this whole candle above this area, this candle barely, wicked into this area, and then we dumped. So sometimes, the market will have a way of making you look foolish. It's just part of life, part of trading. Now, same thing with BNB. We got to get out of this range high. You have to. And once you do, you can get all the way up to 2150 or so, or all the way up to 2640 or so up here. But you got to get out of this range high. Okay. Someone was asking me about Ontology, so I'll check it out. Let me see here. So let's take a look at this. First thing I can look at as soon as I look at this chart is this was the high, right? Supply right there, done. Came back right into supply, pierced above it. Gotta get above that supply. You have to. If it doesn't, I could, I don't know, let's see. Well, let's draw out some basic fibs. Do that. It could come back to 382, which again comes back to this previous area of consolidation. And then you can reach back up towards this key high again, or if it starts breaking through that, you can hang on to that trade and hold it, to this marker right here. This is my big marker. Well, technically this would be the first one, 1111 right there. You can even draw this actually, that's not proper. This is probably a little bit better. Okay, so right around like, let's just say 1,000, 1,050, okay? That'll be your next big target on Ontology. Okay, let's check out SNX. See how SNX is doing. So we had a conversation about SNX yesterday. I think we were up here around 40,000 or so, I remember. SNX, pulled back a little bit, obviously. But again, with some of these altcoins, because they're so extended and they've gone parabolic, it's very hard to determine like when the retracement is going to come, when you might be trapped in a bad position, but until, SNX shows you clear signs that it's starting to break down, create a lower high or a double top or some bearish pattern, one can make the assumption that, it might push up higher. Obviously, you want to make the assumption with proper stops and proper risk management, because you can't just always assume that we're just going to keep pushing higher and higher. You got to be able to manage your risk. Okay. Let me see. I think that's about it. Those are the only ones I want to cover. There's another way that you can look at Bitcoin, based on fibs. And I was doing this yesterday evening, and I was trying to figure out, okay, so we know we kind of broke out of this triangle, this falling wedge, right? More often than not, this is bullish, okay? I cannot be the person who's going to tell you like, oh no, this is still bearish. No, we've made some neutral to bullish signs. Have we made clear bullish signs? Definitely not. Definitely not, because you haven't cleared any significant lower highs. Like the first significant lower high that you need to clear is this one right here. Even better if it's this one. But first step, clear this key lower high. So that means you have to get above 94.97.2 on Finex. So, let's just say $9,500. Price has to get to $9,500 on Bitfinex. Okay, and then we can start talking about, okay, well now maybe we could push higher. Until then, like I said, it's possible that this could be a larger range play, right? Because this could be a large range. You could say, okay, this is the range high, this is the range low, right? High, low, comes back to the high. Are we going back to the low again? I think it's possible, So this is why I'm saying, just be careful in thinking that, okay, from here, we're definitely going to go up, because you haven't cleared any key lower highs. Now, going back to the fib structure that I was mentioning, okay, so if we're doing something like this, so I've drawn these wave counts before, and I'll show you guys again. Okay, so if this is the key high and this is the key low, and we're now putting in, maybe a retracement back up, okay, which again, if you put the retracement back up, I mean, this could very well be the stop, right? Meaning that we just hit the 382 fib and now we should start rolling back down. So that would mean if that's the case, okay, then you can say, okay, this is wave 1, this is wave 2, and then 3 is going to come about, and that's got to be a pretty strong drop. Okay, so let's just say if we did something like that, right? Down, way the heck down here. 4 comes back up here, 5 drops further. And within this wave 3, right, this wave 3, you gotta have another mini count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, is that possible? I think it's definitely possible. At present moment, the way this is all structured right now, especially given the fact that we didn't really get past the 382 fib, nor do we clear a key lower high, it very well could be a wave 2. And you start getting back above this high and say you get to the 50 or the 618, well, then you challenged, you know, above this key lower high and also challenged, you know, this area right here. There are now lesser chances that this could be a, you know, 1, 2, and then dump further, okay? So then it could just be very well that, okay, well, we did something like this, and maybe we reaccumulated right here, and now we're going to push back up and up. Those chances come about with higher probability once you start showing, you know, strength like this, pull back, push up, pull back, push up, stuff like that, okay? But that has yet to be seen. All we've really seen is one spike up, consolidate, right? So it's a game of patience right now for us. And we want Bitcoin to move sideways, or if it dumps, you know, slowly grind down and dump, not aggressively dump, because those are the conditions that allow altcoins to thrive. If Bitcoin just starts dumping like crazy, like a madman, then altcoins are going to get crushed. I mean, it doesn't matter how strong your altcoin is, unless they're very, very small projects which don't care about Bitcoin dumping, which I kind of highly doubt. I would say pretty much everything dumps with Bitcoin. So what we should be wishing for is, okay, well, Bitcoin either stays here, consolidates here, or stays in this larger trading range that we have, you know, like I just determined, between 94, 9,500 down to about, say, 9,100 or so. If that's the case, well, we want it to just keep hovering here, okay? All right, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Nothing else to cover. I think I've covered everything for the most part. So I hope y'all enjoy. Yeah, let me know if y'all have any questions, okay? That's it. Cheers.